Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Martine, and if you're new here, I do videos on Vedic astrology mainly, but also with some tropical insights, and I focus on both relationship and natal astrology. And if you like this video and you would like to hear more content from me, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. Thank you. And also, thank you once again to everyone who has subscribed. And also, as a reminder, the best way to support my channel is to watch as many ads as possible on my videos. And that's a good way to support my channel for free. Thank you. So this video is going to be in continuation with the transits for 2022 for all ascendant and / moon signs. As an introduction, first of all, can I just say the next sign that I will cover in this series is going to be Aries. Because as I mentioned, I did a ruffle thing where I extracted a different sign each time I made a video in this series. So the next one is going to be Aries. And then to continue with some disclaimers is, once again, I remind you that this is going to be basically a general description based on the planetary transits of Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, and Rahu and Ketu, which are the north node and south node of the moon. But if you're interested, of course, in a more detailed, personalized transit analysis, I would suggest that you get a consultation, because you do have to take into account a lot more personalized placements. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt, that everything that I'm about to say in this video about your transits. And yeah, and also, like I mentioned, this, you can apply this video to both your ascendant or your Lagna sign and your moon sign, which can actually be used as an ascendant. If you come from a Vedic background, you probably know that. It's called the Chandra Lagna. And yeah, it's also something to analyze, especially in certain circumstances, especially if your moon sign is in a lower degree than your ascendant. You might actually find more accuracy by analyzing your moon chart rather than your ascendant chart when it comes to transits. Okay, so once again, I have divided the year into 3 different charts, which you will be seeing on the screen. They are based on Saturn and Jupiter's sign placements, which you are going to see written on the screen. Some mentions about this is that I have written in the first chart phase, which is from around January 1st to April 22nd, 2022. I have written on the chart that Rahu is in Taurus, but actually it switches to Aries on around the 3rd of April 2022. So that's something you want to bear in mind. I have left it in Taurus for the entire duration of the chart 1, just to simplify the readings, but you should take into account the fact that it's actually going to be in Aries from around April 3rd. And also, when it comes to the dates themselves, another mention is that this is a generalized chart, and to actually get your specific transit placements, you have to create a personalized chart and also take into account your geographical coordinates as well. And this is why the actual dates of when the transits are going to start in a certain sign for a certain planet might vary a few days, give or take. Okay. And also another thing that I want to mention is that when it comes to the charts, I have used a Western style chart, not that it matters, but what you will see with the colors there is are the different aspects that the planets make, because as you know, in Vedic astrology, certain planets and points make certain so-called special aspects that do not exist in tropical astrology. That being said, on the chart you will see the Saturn aspects marked with gray, you will see the Jupiter aspects marked with yellow, the Rahu aspects marked with pink. I have also written where Ketu is. I didn't mark the Ketu aspects because Ketu is always opposite Rahu, so the aspects are going to be the houses that are opposite the Rahu aspects, basically. Okay, so this is pretty much what I wanted to mention. So to get straight into the description, the chart 1 phase. Okay, like I mentioned, from around January 1st to around April 22nd, 2021. Okay, so what I can say is Saturn Pluto is going to be in the 2nd house. This shows that your main responsibilities during this time will revolve around the family of origin, also towards your finances. So you could expect to see some potential hurdles, some obstacles, some delays with respect to your wealth, especially liquid assets, literally money. Also with respect to your family of origin, there could be some hardships there. Could also be maybe illness, worst case scenario, but you should expect these things, okay? This is just Saturn basically testing you, and you need to be as diligent and as thorough as possible, especially when it comes to your finances. You will feel like you have to put a lot of effort when it comes to your house, your home, and your vehicles, so your cars, your bicycles, whatever. To a lesser extent, it could be boats if you have them. Okay, so there might be, again, some kind of hardships, or there could be some kind of delays with respect to your home, maybe to some kind of real estate issues. That's something you could expect during this time. There could also be potential issues involving your mother. So if you feel like your mother is going through some health problems, or maybe she's showing symptoms of something, definitely pay attention to that. Make sure that she sees a doctor, etc. This could also just show that when it comes to your home, you might tend towards some kind of a minimalist tendency during this time. Like maybe you're going to throw away all the things you don't need and keep your living space more simple and uncluttered, just sticking to the bare necessities. This could unfortunately also show that you will be maybe a little bit more emotionally down during this first phase of the year, like a little bit more pessimistic, a little bit, maybe even a little bit depressed. Relations with your neighbors and your younger siblings will be pretty good during this time. You could experience increased chances of travels, especially short trips. Jupiter will aspect the 7th and the 9th houses, which shows this is a good time to meet long-term partners, or to take your relationship to the next step, like get engaged, get married, move in together, etc. If you already have met a long-term partner. This is a good time for you to also study, and also a good time for you to do business. If you are planning to start your own business, this is a great time to do it. Also, if you have some kind of a hobby, you can turn it into a side hustle. And also, this is a good time to just start a side hustle or a business. Rahu in Taurus in the 6th house will aspect the 10th, the 2nd houses. This shows opportunities for employment during this time coming from foreign places. Or they could just be online opportunities, or they could be in some kind of a field connected to tech or aerospace or anything to do with like high level technology. Could also just be things to do with tarot or anything under the quote category of New Age. This is also potentially a good time to get exotic pets if you have considered getting pets before. Jupiter and Saturn will be aspecting the 4th house. This shows this is a good time. The 11th house, not the 4th house. This is a good time to gain from investments and from your career. Ketu in the 12th shows heightened intuition and sensitivity during this time. So you will tend to be a little bit more introvert than usual. During the chart 2 phase, which will start around April 22nd, last until July 21st, 2022, Saturn will be in the 3rd house, which shows that most of your efforts will be directed towards your own enterprises. Okay, so you might feel a particularly strong urge right now to start maybe your own business or some kind of a side hustle, and that's good. Like, basically, the chart supports you to do that. The transit supports you. And any plans that you make for the future right now will most likely stand the test of time. And, well, basically, this is a good time to think about your long-term projects, okay, and plan for the future. And this is also a good time for you to think about anything to do with ecology or, like, you know, saving resources, that kind of thing. Like, especially if you're considering getting a side hustle in that, or getting a job in that, you might be particularly successful. This is also a time when you're just going to become very pragmatic when it comes to your thinking. Like, you might even lose a little bit of your interest in astrology, maybe. Because you're going to be focused on what you can do to get results. And you're going to be particularly pragmatic during this time. And there could be some potential obstacles and frustrations when it comes to your neighbors, your neighborhood relations, maybe. Maybe you are going to be thinking about changing neighborhoods during this time. And also when it comes to your younger siblings. Okay? Somehow your finances, something to do with your finances as well. Like, I don't know, I'm getting a feeling of like maybe you will be asked to support your younger siblings, or you will feel like you have a responsibility to take care of younger siblings during this time. Jupiter will be in the 4th house, aspecting the 8th, the 10th, and the 12th houses. This generally shows that during this time you will have higher optimism. You will feel generally better, more optimistic. You will have more faith in yourself and in life in general. You will especially have good opportunities with respect to real estate and vehicles. Like, maybe you will go through some upgrade when it comes to your living space and to your vehicles. It's also a good time to rekindle relationships with your parents, especially your mother, and your spouse's family, if you have a spouse, and your father. And it's also a good time to gain, again, you could have increased opportunities in your career during this time. And also when it comes to a job, like if you are forced to quit your job during this time, there are higher chances of you getting some kind of financial compensation out of it. Rahu and Saturn will be aspecting the 5th house. This shows that your relationships with your children, if you have children, are going to be maybe a little bit more frustrating, more difficult during this time. The children could be weird. They could be acting out weirdly, be rebellious during this time. They could, question your authority, and that's going to annoy you. This is going to be true actually for most of the time when Rahu is going to be in Aries. Again, if you don't have children, again, if you are working as a teacher or some kind of profession where you are teaching, or you're some kind of a mentor, guide, etc., you could also be facing some frustrations and some difficulties in that respect, especially if you are doing your job online, especially with your subordinates. I can see that if you have subordinates. And it also shows, however, that you're going to be particularly interested in, you're going to feel tempted to use, to basically turn your hobby into some kind of an online venture. during this time. And if you're thinking about doing that, this is a great time to do it because you are supported by the transits. But yeah, it also shows that you could be successful when it comes to investments. So this is a good time especially to invest in things like cryptocurrency or any kind of, doesn't have to be crypto, but some kind of tech related stocks, and like Apple or whatever. but I stress this, you also, so this is a good time like to do these kinds of things, but this is especially during this phase, during this second chart phase, you also have to be very careful because you could be swindled when it comes to these things, to investments. It could turn badly very easily, especially if you don't inform yourself properly on how to do these things. So basically, if you want to invest during this time, you have to be particularly careful about, you have to be particularly careful and not leave much to chance, as, you know, control as much as possible. During the third chart phase, it's probably more favorable for you to invest. And when it comes to, it's also, this is a time when you might be tempted to start some online courses, and you might even finish your degree online. And this is also a time when I see that long distance or long-term travels will be frustrated for you, or like they will bring some kind of frustrations. Of course, this doesn't mean you have to be deterred from traveling, but you could expect to see, you know, some obstacles, some frustrations, more than usual. Also, I can feel like there's going to be a strong desire for you to, to start some kind of a spiritual practice like meditation. You might even, you know, turn to some religion, some religious practices, and these will give you a great deal of psychological support during this time. Or, of course, just you could choose to start going to therapy. Okay, so this is pretty much all I can say for the, I think, is it? Yeah, pretty much all I can say about the chart 2 phase. Okay, so moving on to the chart 3 phase. As you can see on the screen, from around July 21st to around December 31st, 2022 until the end of the year, this is when Jupiter will be in Pisces and Saturn will be in Capricorn. So this is like a mixture between the chart 1 and the chart 2 phases. What I can see here again is there could be like some need to pay attention to the mother, the relationship with the mother, and again the home. Like that's going to take some of your time and your attention. Also is that you need to be really frugal and you need to really plan your budget, because Saturn is in the second house, and this is also true for the first chart phase. Saturn is going to make you work really hard for the money, okay? So you need to be careful with your spending, because cash flow is not going to be easy during this time. But career opportunities will be good, okay, in continuation with the second chart phase. Also, right, with Ketu in the 11th, and this is also going to be true for, I should have said it in the second chart phase as well. This is going to be true for the entire time when Ketu is in Libra. You could expect to, you know, you can expect some friends to basically disappear from your life, worst case scenario. Or it just could be that the relations with the friends, the acquaintances, basically your whole social circle, your social network, and the relations with elder siblings can be particularly cold during this time, or it could even be that they will, worst case scenario, they might get sick, even pass away. Or it just could be that there will be a distance between you and them. So it will be more difficult to keep in touch. And right, yeah, that's pretty much everything that I can say. Another thing that I can say is just that your speech will become more severe maybe during this time, or like you'll become more serious in expressing yourself. Like you will be tempted to just, be more cheap with your words. You might speak less than usual, but when you do speak, you will feel like you have to speak only when you have something to say. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Okay, so yes, this has been my interpretation. And once again, I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell to see when I will post a new video. And also, please please watch the ads to support my channel for free. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. Thank you.